Hello everybody, Corey here. It is April 11th and I have some updates for you. Sorry about getting this out late. I started making a lot more changes and trying to figure things out, and at this point I'm brain dead and I still haven't done any of the daily videos yet. So I'm just going to go with what I have for now. But just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. And all I'm really doing is collecting data, sorting through it, making some assumptions, and then presenting it to you. But if you want to know more in depth about the spreadsheet and my thoughts and past data and stuff, you can look at the initial review that I did. It might have been yesterday during lunch, maybe, but it says initial in the front of it to just give you an overview of the workbook and, talk through some things from the past couple of months since it started. And then yesterday I did go over this outstanding shares sheet if you wanted to see a little bit about what this means or what I have going on here a little bit more in depth. Today I do have a few more changes. But let me say up front, so I have decided that I'm going to exclude my numbers from February. So let's just scroll over here real quick. And I've even drawn a line underneath February because I am sure that they did not have a loss. That they paid out more. There's just no way. Just looking at the numbers for this one specifically and seeing that like they had only calculated enough. Oh, I do have an extra columns in here today. But so with this said, I'll go ahead and explain this. This right here is saying that based on the dividend distribution amount per share and what I had down as dividends received, they only accounted for 500,000 for February. And that's not even possible because the 2 days before, or the day before, 2 days before declaration date, they had 625. So there's no way that they would have messed that up. So, and just if you haven't watched other videos, so what happened is there is a day that we did not have trades for, or actually no, yes, I didn't have the holdings for them, sorry, because I wasn't doing this at first, and so I'm missing like a day of holdings. So these numbers, could be wrong. And then just the more I think about it and look at it and go through this, there's just no way that they would have messed this up like this, right? So in my totals from now, I'm just going to assume that was actually good. I'll leave it up there and leave it in red, but I'm going to assume that it was good. I even tried to look, but there's not many, there's nobody out there like tracking this stuff but me that I can find on YouTube. If y'all can find somebody, let me know, because I'd love to be able to go back to that very specific day that I'm missing the data for to do the right calculations, because I would like this sheet to be, good to go. But anyway, I can't get the data, so I'm just going to exclude it, and I'm going to act like there's not a loss, and, we're just going to move on. I've already removed it from the calculations down here, but I did put April's data in there. So, yeah, I didn't change this side, or I didn't add the new formulas over here. But anyway, I just wanted to go over that part, and that I spent too much time doing that. Sorry about that. And then what I did, I was going to do some, right, we're doing this daily and stuff, but I was going to try to do some kind of future estimate here. And I was thinking through some things, and then my brain's just fried at this point. So right now, the way I have this here is just based on the decrease from last month. So just to give you an example, just because I wanted to do something quick for now instead of just having the daily. And we'll see, maybe tomorrow with a fresher mind, because I've been doing lots of calculations and things, but maybe I figured out. But basically, all I did was do, you know, like what was here, you know, whoop, sorry. This was 51%, and then the actual ended up being a 35% drop. Oh, you'd see it here. Which ended up being a 16% drop. So I just used that in my calculation here. I wish this thing would quit selecting things. I just used that in the calculation here with it. If it was a 16% drop again, then this would be here. So just to give you an idea of what that is there, since I just added that. So that's for YMAG. If it's about the same drop, we're looking at about 57 cents and 33%. But, I mean, if you also look, though, too, last time, we increased our shares by 42%. And then this one, they increased by 43%. But if we look up here, so we go back over to YMAG here. Right now, we're only up 18% in shares. So there's not that many people buying into this one. So we may not have such a big gap here, you know. But, and then same thing here. So if we look at YMAX, 29% has been the whole change. So you see that most of the buy-ins, like right here in these first few days, because that's when the single stock ETF dividend payments were, right? Or on basically these 2 days, because some of us, depending on which account you have or what brokerage you have, you may not get it on the payday. You may get it the next day. So we can see huge buys in there. I don't know how much we'll have. Dang it. I don't know if we're going to have much buy-in here. So it may not be that big of a gap. But you can see over here, so we started for YMAX, and I'm sorry, I know I'm all over the place. YMAX at 87 and 49% if you held the underlying. Right now we're down to 68 cents based off today's share count because it went up 75,000 or increased by 2% today. But the estimated distribution as of today would actually be 68 cents or 38%. Of course, we have a couple of more days of buy-ins. So again, using the same thing that I did over there, you know, there's like, if we open this back up, there was like a 19% drop here between the, you know, if you held the underlying versus what you actually got paid by YMAX. And so I just did the same thing here. So you can see the 49% to the 30, which calculates out to 55 cents. So this is just something new, never done, and I didn't want to do it this way, but I just wanted to put something there. So that was just my quick, well, let's do this then. All right. So I know I'm just like totally all over the place. And I actually started recording this, and then I changed the way I want to do it. And this one isn't coming out that great either, but I'm starting to lose my voice. I need to take my medicine and stuff. I'm still trying to get over this sickness. But what I did do down here, looking at the historical, I looked to see as far as like a buffer. You know, it looks like when they did the, oh my goodness, when they did this on the declaration date, they put this out based on this shares. They gave themselves about a 15% buffer. So they expected about, you know, 175,000 additional shares to be bought in, and 150,000 actually bought in. So they ended up using 97% of the money because of the difference of that 25,000. Now, as far as the YMAX one, this one had a buffer of about 11% here. So they had a buffer for about an additional 400,000 on declaration date, because some people do that instead of waiting until the stock drops on ex-dividend date to buy. But here, you know, it was only 1% increase that day, so it was only 50,000 versus 400,000 buffer. So they ended up only paying out 91% of the dividends that they received here. So I did add those calculations in. So on the past one, this calculation here is actually different, and it's based on these numbers. So once we get these numbers here, which will be Monday, I'm going to change this formula to the other, which will basically just give it the same buffers. Now, they're not, nobody, they may not use the same buffers as they did last time, but for this instance, I may just use the same thing, which is like 15 and 11%, or 15 and 10, or 10 and 10, whatever, right? I don't know. So this is just some things where I've been playing around with the spreadsheet again this evening. So I know I've rambled and I've gone through a lot of additional things, because you got to remember, these workbooks are all a work in progress, right? Every month we're just trying to make them a little bit better. These have only been out a little bit, and I'm trying to do lots of other things on top of this, so I don't have as much time to spend on every single workbook every day, on top of, job and life. So, but just to sum this up, which I guess I should have done this up front, for those that didn't want to go through all the changes and my thoughts and what I'm doing. But right now, YMAG, if it paid out today, it looks like it would be roughly 71 cents a share. But using what happened last month and the drop, I'm just right now calculating 57 cents a share for YMAG. For YMAX, again, if this one paid out today, then, it'd be looking at about 68 cents a share. But just using the drop from last month from, the single stock ETF declaration date to the actual, the fund-to-fund declaration date, using that drop right now, it's looking about an estimate of 55 cents. Now, this 57 and 55 cents, those may be, underestimated, because we may not have many more people buy in. You know what I'm saying? We may not have as much change in our outstanding shares as we did last month. So if you want, what you could look at this as, YMAX is between probably around 55 to 68 cents, because I know we did ranges on the single stock ETF, so I guess that could be our range, and maybe I can put that somewhere here just up front and say, okay, this is the range, and then tomorrow, I need to write that down or else I'll forget, and then I can just sort of go over the details for those that want to see it. So we'll just say YMAX right now is between 55 and 68 cents, and YMAG is between that 57 and 71 cents. So I just need to find a place to put a range. I guess I could put it here. Make sure I don't have any formulas in here. It's not going to look pretty, but I just have to, the way I'm setting this up this second, I would have to change this formula. Or what I could do, instead of putting the yield here, I could just put the range right there. I don't know, but I do know that once I get all these workbooks, whatever, in a somewhat steady place, I will be so happy, because, yeah, this is a lot, and I'm sorry. And I know some of you get really mad because I make my videos too long, but I'm just trying to get y'all to understand what I'm doing in my thought process. But anyway, for those of you that, if you saw the outstanding shares like this yesterday in the video, just to show this real quick, we can see, which we already saw really, those change in shares, but here we can see the percentage in change in this pay period, which starts the day of the single stock ETF payment date to now. So you can see here it's jumped up. YMAG has increased 18% in this pay period, and YMAX has jumped 24% in this period. Again, don't get those confused with the amounts over here, because this right here is going to be since the single stock ex-dividend, and not necessarily the this one starting here and the other one's actually starting here. It's just a different way to look at some data just to see some things going on. But anyway, sorry for the long video, but I know, y'all know me. I'll try to do better tomorrow, right? That's all I can do, is I try to do better each day. And I appreciate all of you. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and then I think I have all the other videos, daily videos to get out at a minimum. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.